Travel back in time with us to medieval King's Lynn, a bustling market town and major port in the county of Norfolk.
It was a time fraught with fear and danger. The devil was considered to be a physical entity who walked the earth seeking out the souls of the unfortunate. Witches and sorcerers abounded, communicating with the devil while performing evil deeds and concocting spells to trap the unwary.
Legend tells that a ship carrying the devil himself landed at King's Lynn port. He came ashore looking to steal the souls of the local townspeople. As he was making his way inland, he was spotted by a priest who cornered him in what is now known as Devil's Alley. The priest banished him back to the underworld from whence he came with prayers and holy water. The enraged devil stamped his cloven hoof in fury with such force that it left an imprint in the cobbles.
The devil was banished, but evil still lurked in the shadows of the town.
A weekly market has been held on the large, imposing town square for hundreds of years. It has become known as the Tuesday Marketplace. The area also has a darker history. It was the site for public executions.
In 1562, during the early reign of Elizabeth I, an act was passed against conjurations, enchantments and witchcrafts. The first person condemned in Norfolk under the act was Mother Gabley of King's Lynn.
She had, it was claimed, boiled eggs in cold water, stirring vigorously to raise a storm at sea, causing the death of 13 men. Mother Gabley was hanged in King's Lynn in 1583.
Another infamous execution was that of the alleged witch Margaret Reed. In 1590, she was found guilty of witchcraft and burnt at the stake.
As the flames took hold, she screamed out in agony, and it was reported that her still-beating heart ripped itself from her chest and slammed into the wall of a nearby building. Inside a diamond carved into the red brick above a window of number 15 and 16 Tuesday Marketplace, there is the shape of a heart. The heart struck with such force that it bounded down to the River Ouse, where it sank beneath the bubbling waters.
Other executions included Mary Smith, burnt in 1616, and Dorothy Floyd, hanged in 1650.
In 1646, the notorious witchfinder general Matthew Hopkins was invited to come to King's Lynn. On the 2nd of September 1646, it was ordered that he be paid £15 to be borne by the town. Later in September, it was ordered that he was paid £20 for his pains and in full discharge of his demands.
Various techniques were employed to determine whether the accused was in fact a witch. One such method was pricking their skin with needles. This practice derived from the belief that all witches and sorcerers bore a witch's mark and that they would not feel pain or bleed when pricked.
It was believed that the witch's familiar, an animal such as a cat or dog, would drink the witch's blood from the mark, as a baby drinks milk from the nipple. The witchfinder would also cut the arm of the accused with a blunt knife, and if she did not bleed, she was said to be a witch.
There was also an ordeal by water. Suspects were sometimes tied to a chair and thrown into water. All who floated were considered to be witches. The ducking stool, or cucking stool as it was sometimes known, was also a way to establish whether a suspect was a witch.
Other methods employed included sleep deprivation in order to extract confessions from his victims.
As a result of the witchfinder's investigations, Grace Wright was found guilty and hanged in 1646.
Let us take you through the grounds of St. Nicholas Chapel to a curious cottage built by the side of a graveyard. It is known as the Exorcist's House. A house where medieval exorcists did battle with evil spirits. Dating from 1635, the house is built on the site of a previous building which once housed members of the clergy.
Legend has it that an underground passage, allegedly used by the witchfinder, runs from here to the nearby St. Anne's house.
One notorious resident of the exorcist's house was writer and broadcaster Frank Robert Buckley, who claimed to be a wizard who could prevent people from photographing the house, and who kept a large collection of occult objects at his address.
The medieval Tudor Rose stands between St Nicholas Church and the Tuesday Marketplace on St Nicholas Street. The building is said to be haunted by a woman in a long dress who is said to be the ghost of a bride stabbed to death by her husband on her wedding day at the hotel.
The Duke's Head Hotel was built in 1683 and is said to be one of the most haunted buildings in the historic town of King's Lynn. The hotel stands on the site of an ancient inn called the Griffin. From this time, a maidservant was found guilty of poisoning her mistress and was sentenced to be boiled alive on the Tuesday Marketplace. The ghost of the maidservant is said to haunt this site.
In 2011, cat remains were found in the ceiling of room 10. Local historians believe that the cat remains were placed there to deter evil spirits and witches entering the property, as this was a popular method in England during the 17th century.
The Purfleet Quay was the town's principal anchorage for ships during medieval times.
Located by the quay was the ducking stool. Ducking stools, or cucking stools as they were sometimes known, were chairs formerly used for punishment of disorderly women, scolds and dishonest tradesmen, and also a way of establishing whether a woman was a witch. A ballad dating from about 1615, called The Cucking of a Scold, illustrates the punishment inflicted to women whose behaviour made them be identified as a scold.
Then was the scold herself in a wheelbarrow brought, stripped naked to the smock, as in the case she ought. Neat's tongues about her neck were hung in open show, and thus unto the cucking stool the famous scold did go.
The ghost of a woman who killed herself the day after she was married has been seen standing by the quay before screaming and throwing herself into the water.
Other ghostly screams in the area are attributed to fighting soldiers, and if these screams are heard, the water is said to run red with blood.
Trews Yard Fisherfolk Museum is said to be one of the most haunted buildings in Norfolk. The museum celebrates North Lynn's fishing community and is believed to be the home of over 37 resident ghosts.
Visitors to the museum have witnessed many unexplainable sights over the years, including dark figures staring out of empty windows at the 18th century cottages.
In one of the bedrooms, sitting on a chair, a young woman with bulging red eyes and red marks on her throat was seen by two separate people. Could this be the spirit of a woman who was strangled by her father for loving the wrong man?
Staff have reported witnessing a poltergeist, affectionately known as Henry. He is said to knock paintings off the wall and throw staplers across the room where the fisherfolk used to live.
Mind you take great care when walking late at night down those ancient cobble streets, through the medieval market square, or along the quayside beside the deep, murky depths of the river. The devil was banished once. May he never return.
It is said you can keep the nightmares away by hitting the like button and maybe subscribing to the Brit Girls YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.